Cast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good morning, traders. Can you hear me and see my screen? If you could just say yes in the questions. All right, good morning, everybody. Thank you. Okay, well, first off, I want to start off with an apology. Yesterday, I clicked on the wrong button and went and gave a webinar to the wrong room. Sorry about that. So I'm going to give you the link to the webinar for the upcoming webinar in just about 28 minutes. So take a look there. It's in the chat. Hopefully, I mean, we do that on Friday anyway, I just want to apologize. You guys have the recording. I sent an email to everybody. You have recording from yesterday's platform details webinar. I thought it was a pretty good one. We saw some good stuff. And then now you guys have access to today's advanced order flow webinar as well. So that immediately follows here. All right. Okay, so let's get started. So welcome to the Bookmap Platform Details webinar. This is Bruce at Bookmap. Risk disclaimer: trading futures, equities, and digital currencies involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Go to bookmap.com for more information. The platform, when you subscribe, it comes with education. So you will get the access to the four-part Bookmap educational course. And then we back up all of that content in that educational course in the live market. Okay, and that's in the advanced order flow webinars. So learn about Bookmap and then see it in the live markets when we do the advanced analysis. All right, let's jump over to the website and quickly scroll through it. Okay, some intro videos about Bookmap here, and just down to connectivity and pricing I need to go through. So Bookmap is a visualization software trading platform. We're not a data provider. So you will need to provide your data for futures and US equities. And for the GDAX exchange for the cryptocurrencies, we offer it for free. We have a good connection there and partnership, so no worries on that one. Anyway, you can see here that there are a few other trading platforms listed here, like NinjaTrader, TTX Trader Pro, and Interactive Brokers Traders Workstation. We connect to them as well via the API. Okay, so you have that option as well, but we prefer it if you just connect directly to the data feed. Okay, so CQG, Rhythmic, Gain, IQ Feed, Transact, and then Dev Experts. So this Dev Experts is for that US equities. Okay, it's full depth of market, pretty unique data feed that is, I haven't seen it anywhere else, but and it's about to get a lot better as well. All right, so it's NASDAQ Total View, but it will include, shortly, it will include BATS, EDGX, and CTA data. Okay, so it's going to be pretty in-depth, pretty serious connection. All right, let's just go down a bit further here. These are the different packages for Bookmap. You can subscribe monthly or yearly with a 20% discount. There's the digital versions and the global versions. So let me explain. Digital versions is for digital currency. Global versions are for everything. All right, the digital version here, it's free. You only get access to one digital currency at a time, but it is a live, free connection and a full working copy of Bookmap. Okay, you don't get the advanced education, nor do you get full support. All right, so it is limited in a lot of senses. The Digital Plus version, okay, what you get there is, and you can see the price, $37 a month. What you get with that is the ability to trade from the chart. You can record and replay your data, and you get up to 20 different digital currencies from GDAX Exchange. You also get the advanced education and full support. Okay, the global version, all right, when you get into the global versions, this offers already the digital version, but you also get the ability to connect to the futures market as well as US equities. You will need to provide that data though, okay? We don't provide it. And of course, you get the advanced education and full support. Global Plus version, what you get there is everything included in global, but you also get these add-on indicators. Okay, so there are several here. One is the ability to trade right from the Bookmap chart. Great advantage there because of the liquidity heat map in front of you. Manage your trades accordingly, front run high liquidity to get it into the trade and hide your stops behind high liquidity to have better potential for staying in that trade. We also, these proprietary indicators we put together also start to identify specific players, not just the market phenomena. And I can answer any questions on that, so just let me know. But large lot tracker, we're looking for bigger players providing the majority of the liquidity. So it's a really good indicator, as well as the iceberg detector, starting to note where there are icebergs, larger players hiding their liquidity. Okay. All right. You can follow us on Twitter at bookmap_pro. All sorts of great information here, like a new video that we just updated, a cumulative volume delta setup. You can also subscribe to our YouTube page here. Just go through briefly some of the playlists. Okay, there's intro playlist here, just for those of you who are new. Features and components playlist here, just to go through some of the features and the user interface in Bookmap. And then these order flow video snippets. These identify the phenomena of different order flow phenomena in the market that takes place, and then Bookmap will with this visualization, this is how you get the insight. Okay, so you get a real good understanding of what's happening there with the visualization from Bookmap. All right, so that's that. Let's jump into Bookmap and see what's going on. Okay, I have a new version here as well that offers historical data. Some new changes here. So I don't know if you guys got the email. If you have any questions about that, I'd be happy to go through it with you. Anyway, let's just jump in here and take a look at this ES. All right, so here's our cash open, and it's looking pretty bullish today. So cash open, you can see maybe it's just been nothing but bullish. Nothing but buying coming in here, and you can see the nice kind of trending market here. For those of you who are new here, let me go through this and define what you're looking at, okay? Because this might look like nothing you've ever seen before. It's actually really simple data that we're just visualizing it in a different way, okay? So let me take off some of these indicators to begin with. Point of control and our VWAP, I want to take those off just to simplify this. Let's close up the cumulative volume delta and our trade control panel. Okay, so 3 elements here. That's it. That's all you're looking at. One is the historical best bid and offer. The other is the volume that traded on it. That's the volume dots that you see here. Okay, green is aggressive market buy, red is aggressive market sell. Okay, and then you see this colored heat map. All this heat map is the areas of high liquidity, and it's just taken from the dome, your depth of market, and it's projected on the chart historically. Okay, so let's just back up a minute and we'll simplify this, and we'll look at a view we're all accustomed to, and then I will define some of these things. Okay, all right, here we go. We're just looking at the candlestick chart here. We do have a volume subchart as well, and CVD, I'm going to close that up. All right, so this is a 5-minute candlestick chart. Okay, open, high, low, and close of a 5-minute period. We've been looking at this for decades, most of us, this is just really lacks a lot of transparency. you just can't see all sorts of data, all sorts of microstructure, and how the volume and the auction interact within those microstructural areas. The reason being is that it's an aggregated period of 5 minutes. Okay, due to that aggregation, we lose a lot of transparency. Okay, so let me show you. I'll just quickly turn on the best bid and offer, and we can zoom into an area and start to understand some of these microstructural areas here. Okay, so let's zoom in down here. And this is what I mean by microstructure. Okay, actually the candlestick chart's not doing such a bad job here, but there are microstructural areas within it. Okay, we can see that it kind of, price kind of based down here for a bit, and then we broke up out of that area and based higher, and it was accepted higher for a bit, and then it broke down again. Altogether, we're kind of in a bigger structure here. And then you can see the 9:30 open, what happened. Okay, they just lifted the offer very, very quickly up out of this structural area here. Okay, and this is where Bookmap is giving you some insight, because look at the pullback. Okay, the pullback here came to where? Okay, it came to where we broke out. It came down a little bit further. We broke out basically here, and maybe 1, 2, 3. Yeah, okay, so a point lower. It returned back to that area, but we can see here that this little area here, this is where the move really occurred. Okay, this is one of the setups that we look for all the time, is a return back to where we broke from, and then to get engaged in that market. Okay, to go with the order flow, go with the tape, because what we're going to see here, in order for price to break out of this structural area, we need a lot of buy volume. Okay, that's what we're going to see when we turn on the volume dots. Okay, and there we go. Look at this big cluster of all of this buying up in this area here. Okay, there's some selling too, but this is a sweep of the order book here. Very, very clear here that nothing but, well, I mean, there's selling in here as well, but look at the majority of it. Okay, they're just lifting the offer. Like, they're taking all liquidity at one level, the next level, and the next level. Okay, that's an order book sweep. This is something we go through in part 1 of our educational process. Okay, look at all the selling up here, and where did it go? It came down to this cluster of volume activity here. All of this kind of detail here, we just simply don't see in the candlestick chart at all. It adds a lot of insight here. Look how we climbed up to a specific area, and we drop back down, but we're still bullish here because of this breakout down here. Okay, and that's exactly where we come down and test, and then you look what happened down here. Okay, there's some selling here, but then right in these little areas here, it really kind of started to dry up and exhaust out, and the buyers come right back in. Okay, look how the buyers came right back in and started to initiate this buying. And look at the pullback here yet again. Okay, that same setup. Okay, right to where they initiated. Okay, and we continue to the upside here. Okay, so there's a few different ways of getting in just by looking at these, just the 2 elements that we have here on the chart. Okay, and let me zoom into this area here, and I want to show you precisely what we're looking at, because it's really simple data. It's nothing complex here. It's just best offer is the red line, best bid is the green line. Okay, the green dots that you see here, let me bring up the dot size. The green dots are the market buy orders. They crossed the spread and they took liquidity off of the best offer. They didn't wait, okay, and they paid up for it. The red dot is the aggressive market sell. Now, you can see that there's pie displays in here. It's because there's so many different contracts that traded that we have to give you the overall shape and delta of that volume here. So if we zoom in here, we pull all of that trade data apart. Okay, and I can continue to zoom in here, and we can see precisely what traded here. Okay, we're down at nano or microsecond level here. Okay, and we can see precisely what traded. 6 different events here for a volume of 15. I can zoom in here. I can use the hover or data tip tool, and this one was for a volume of 5. Okay, one trade, volume of 5. Okay, so we come from the HFT environment, and we record all of this data precisely. Every single market event is recorded, okay, from your data provider. All right. So, but you note how as I zoom back out, we'll just consolidate that or aggregate that into a bigger dot. Okay, but this isn't aggregate, it's only graphically aggregated. It's all there, right? So that's what occurred here in this market event. Okay, we have a little bit of a spread gap, as you can see right here, and the buyers came in on the other side here. Okay, nothing, well, here's where it changed. You can see both buying and selling occurred here at this same level, okay, because the bid offer went up and down. Now, as I zoom back out, that's where you get this pie display, okay? When we put all of that, trades, all those trades together, and then you can see the overall shape that most of that was selling down here, okay? They're going to be pretty trapped down in these areas because the buyers stepped right back in. Anyway, that's all we're looking at in terms of volume and historical best bid and offer. David, I'll get to your VWAP and cumulative delta, et cetera, in just a minute here. Okay. Now let's get to the heat map. Okay. Because with these two elements, and let's take the candlestick off. With these two elements on the chart, we're already seeing quite a bit. Okay. We're actually seeing quite a bit more than you're going to see in a footprint chart. And the reason being is because that footprint chart aggregates data. Okay. So you're not going to see microstructure. Okay. Another thing you're not going to see is you're not going to see the speed of movements. Okay. So let's zoom out actually, and let's go back to that little area. Okay. Well, let's look at the open. Obviously, very quick move here to the upside with tons of volume. Okay. You're not going to see that in the footprint chart, nor are you going to see this move here. Right? I mean, it'll aggregate it and put it into a big bar, but you're not going to understand really what occurred here. Okay, very quick move up, a pretty quick move right back down, and then supported again though by buyers. Okay, so we can very clearly see, we saw two examples of this setup already. All right, so that's the volume. Now, we also want to understand what's going on in the auction, because that's the next part of the data here, right? And this is really truly what we normally see is just volume and price plotted onto the chart. Okay, this is where Bookmap is quite unique because we're going to display here the auction, current and historical auction. Most of us look at that in the dome here. So everything to the right of this vertical white line, this is your current market. Okay, right here, this is your best bid and offer and your last traded volume here. Here's your price ladder, and here's your depth of market. These are traders lined up on the offer, providing liquidity. Okay, they want to be sellers up above here. Down here, they want to be buyers, providing liquidity down here. Okay, and these numbers are constantly changing. Okay, that's part of the problem here. It's difficult to read the dome due to these constantly changing numeric values or liquidity areas, because the reason being is that once it changes, that previous data is gone. We don't know what that auction looked like. So that's where Bookmap, we take this data, okay, that's in the dome here, and we paint it in this window with the current market. Okay, and we paint it into a heat map. So very clearly or quickly, I can see right up here, 65, 800 contracts. I know that this is the highest, okay, up here at 67, 1,000 contracts, okay, because of the heat map. Here's the scale of the heat map up here. Dark is, or black is low liquidity, all the way up to orange as being very high liquidity. Okay, so here's the auction, and what are we doing? We're channeling right between areas of high liquidity right now, down here on the bid at 61 and up here at 65. And that's the current state of the market and of the book right now. Okay, so what this allows us to do is when we take this this liquidity here, in the heat map, and we project it onto the chart historically. So now we have a historical representation of precisely what occurred in the auction. And let me bring up these filters a bit here. All right, there we go. Okay, so you can filter it out a little bit to target that higher liquidity. And then we can start to look at the historical areas here of the auction and start to piece together a lot of information. Okay, we know we're in an uptrend. We know the buyers are in control. We can see it in the volume, and also in the structure. We're trending upwards. But why do we stop up here? Well, the area is clearly showing us here that there's high liquidity. Okay, we trade right into it here. It is absorbed. It bounces back down, comes right back up into this area here, and it kind of shies away from it. It doesn't take these guys on at 65. Okay, so let's zoom in here, and I want to show you what absorption looks like. Okay, and this is going to make the distinction between real liquidity and fake liquidity, because a lot of traders out there, they'll look at the dome and all these numeric values and they go, well, it doesn't really matter anyway because it's all fake. And that's just not true, right? Here's your example. This is what absorption looks like, right into areas of high liquidity at 64. They're trading into it. Okay, 223 contracts have traded so far. Okay, that's fact. Okay, and then you can see that well, we can use the data tip tool here. There was over 1,100 contracts here. Okay, and they started to trade into it, and then they did start to pull. Okay, so this is actually some absorption and some was pulled. Okay, and we go kind of sideways here for a bit, dip back down, and let's see the retest up here because we went right back up into it. Okay, and here they are again. Okay, and here they are staying in the book again, trading right into this area of high liquidity. Okay. All right, partially absorbed, partially pulled, and they jump right back in though. Okay, so this still has room to the upside. I mean, it's partially being filled here, but look where they're adding back into this area here at 65 as well. Okay, as price moves away. Okay, so they're kind of telling us in a sense here that yeah, we'll take some on here on the sell side, some of the larger players, but we will be sellers at higher areas as well. Here we go. We're coming up right up to test them again right now in the current market, and look at their behavior in this auction. They're starting to pull. Okay. Okay, you can see that here with these when it gets a little bit darker here or bluer. Right. So what is their intent to trade up at 65? It's there's somewhat of intent. We've already established that, but they also are pulling and adding higher. If they really wanted to be sellers, what would they be doing? Well, they'd be chasing after this. They'd be offering their liquidity down lower. All right, so we can really start to piece together not only the traded volume, but the auction, okay, and what's going on in that auction. All right, so let's see, David, you want the some of the indicators back on? Sure, let's look at the point of control, and let's also add in the VWAP. There you go. Okay, now this may differ than yours due to the amount of data that I have here in my chart. So just note that, it's making the volume weighted average price here, based on all the volume I have from my session. Okay, and the point of control, the most traded level from my session, from my data here. Okay, and they're both hovering down in this area around, between 59 and 60. So let's say, they absorb up here and we get a move back down into these areas. We'll see if there's appetite down here for those larger players to get back into the market. and support the continuation of the trend. Anyway, all sorts of ways of looking at it and trading it. In the end, what we want to understand though is who's in control with the volume and how they are behaving in the auction. All right, it'll give us a lot of insight. Anyway, let's yeah, David, does my POC include overnight? Let's see. If I zoom all the way out, no, it's from, let me see here, just a minute. Okay, it looks like it's about 8:15 onwards. Okay, you can include it if you want. I mean, you just will need to have that data. All right, well, let's wrap it up. Let me give this link again to you guys right now, okay? And I'm going to put it into the chat. Okay, there it is. Okay, so click on that link and you can register for the next webinar. The advanced webinar, it starts in a couple minutes. So let's wrap it up. We'll call this a day, and we'll see you in the next one if you can make it. Else we'll catch up with you next week. Oh, thanks, David. I really appreciate that.